Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to Avorion with me, Lathrix, and of course, welcome to my little legion of helper fighters. In today's episode, we're going to continue to upgrade our ship and hopefully move towards its final form, the final look of the ship, in addition to the final functionality. As you can see, I now have a load more fighters, mostly of the Scrapper variants, although we do have a couple of the minor variant as well. And sadly, we have none of the traditional combat fighters. But I do have a very, very good reason. It turns out that right now, the fighters are honestly pretty awful. Some of them have a bug where they only have 1 HP, a single hull point, so as soon as they're hit, they simply die, like the fighter I'm currently targeting, which is meant to have a durability of something like 30, but it actually has 1, making it die instantly to anything. But also, the fighters are just far too expensive, and you can't really do anything with them unless you're babysitting them. So far, the only type of fighter I've really found to be truly useful are the mining fighters. They do mine incredibly well, and because of how small the mining fighters normally are, you can have hundreds ready to shoot out and just strip mine pretty much anything. Though the salvage ones are a little bit more on the weird side. They do have difficulty with certain shapes, and they do have the issue of every time they finish off on a main segment, like the segment which just broke off then, they do lose track of what they're meant to be doing, so you have to manually select a new piece of salvage, even if it's of the same ship, and then send them against that as well. Basically meaning, I can't just go off and do something else. As you can see, this ship has plenty of stuff left, but our guys are just kind of floating around aimlessly because they don't understand that this is also salvage for them to use. Now, I have heard that there are mods you can install which massively help out the salvaging drones, which I may be looking into for the future. But for now, they're just going to be there so that I have a mining option that doesn't take up one of my systems. Now, when it comes to systems, we do have one more than we had in the previous video, and it's not because of the size of the ship, although we have grew drastically since the last episode. It's because I found out about a brand new item, and if we go into the Trinium, I believe Trinium is the smallest. Where are you? I know what I'm looking for. There we are. The Trinium Computer Core. Increases processing power for more system upgrades. Now this is very energy heavy, and you normally have to have a very large version, but even so, it tends to do very well. There we are. That's the smallest I would need for another module, which isn't too bad. But as you can see, is very, very expensive. But considering how important the system upgrade slots actually are, it's not all that bad. And as you can see, I've now gone for a full armed regiment of modules. Armed turrets, armed turrets, armed turrets, armed turrets. Then we have the jump, the extra power, and the extra shield durability. So we now have 17 guns. At one point, I had 9,000 firepower. The reason why it's gone down is because this stat here is the most unreliable stat in the game when it comes to truly trying to figure out how powerful your craft is, because it does not take into account cooldowns or overheating, which means some weapons are ludicrously overpowered when it comes to this stat. The best example is one of my cannons, if I can find it for you. There we are, into inventory. Is it this one or this one? No. Oh, did I end up selling it? It was similar to this one. It isn't exactly this one, but it's very similar. It had burst fire in addition to overheats, and because of that, the fire rate is incredibly quick for something which does so much damage. But it actually overheats after a single tap of the mouse. So you fire your guns, it overheats, and then it took almost a full minute to come off the overheat stat. Even though it didn't count that when it comes to the firepower, it just counted it as if it could always do that 24/7. So although my firepower is somewhat low, at the moment we are stronger than we have ever been by a long shot. All continuous damage, all very, very powerful, and very, very pretty. And now it's time to get into the episode, less waffling. I want to see the equipment dock in this zone. Well, it doesn't really have the best turrets. This isn't the worst turret in the world, and I may purchase it just because it's better than some of the stuff we already have. But do you have any good upgrades? You have... No, not really. You don't really have anything we want. How about mining fighters? Do you have... You have nothing I want, other than that one laser. Well, we also need to sell stuff, so I'm still going to dock. But even so, that is very, very irritating. Also, why do stations always make me feel so small? Have you seen how big this ship is now? It's getting huge. It's not the largest ship in the world, but it's actually outsizing a lot of the alien big ships. I mean, look, it's big, but I feel really small right now. Okay. Do I need any crew? Actually, let's check. I've made a massive push towards getting only specialized crew members now. Okay, so we need some gunners. We actually may as well unassign these miners. Why do we even have miners anymore? We don't use the ship itself for mining. That's what we use the fighters for. And I've dedicated a lot of hull space to that, so there's no need for these. Let's remove all of the miners. We don't need them. We actually have too many mechanics, but that's fine. The only reason we have more is because as they upgrade, they count as more towards the workforce. So that's fine. We have a lot of pilots. We could always have more. Do you have any sergeants or commanders? Okay, yeah, I do need some more specialist commanders and sergeants and such. And apparently generals as well. I've just realised the audio is really weird. I don't know if this is coming out in the video, but I'm only getting audio in my left headphone, and not in my right headphone. Okay, back in a second. That's better, and it required 3 restarts. I wonder what caused that. Absolutely bizarre. Maybe it's because I've been playing too long, and that's just one of those bugs which happens if you've been online for too long with the game, but even so, very, very annoying. That was not there before. Question mark? Do items refresh when you restart the game? I know that they refresh when you jump around a bit and come back, but... What about fighters then? What do you have now? You now have... Ooh. You have Xanian mining fighters of only one size. Well, I'm taking all of those off your hands, thank you very much, after I sell some stuff. Okay, so there we go. We have our Xanian miners at the top, then we have 2 sets of Trinium miners and 2 sets of Salvagers. These Salvagers are also using Trinium, so they can't be used too far ahead in the future, but can be used for just their sheer damage. As you can see, they do 83.2 damage per second when they're firing, so they're actually pretty good at attacking stations when we're waiting for new enemies to appear. So they can attack the station, I can go off and defend against new enemies quite far away, and they can maybe get that job done. They're essentially our pirates. These are our pirate fighters, these are our miners. Far more innocent, far more deadly. So before we get going, I'm just going to restart the game again, and we're going to see if that causes all of this to refresh again. There's a very good chance it's simply because we were in the right place at the right time, and all of the loot refreshed anyway. It just so happened to perfectly coincide with our restarting of the game. Okay, I restarted the game, and it even reset the crew. You can even purchase brand new crew members once you have done this. So here we are, able to buy absolutely new stuff. So yes, I will purchase all of your miners, and accidentally one of your lasers, which I'll get rid of in a second. And yes, I'll go ahead and purchase all of your salvagers until I am completely full. So, new squad, which at the moment there's a bug where I can't rename these things. Let's try. Salvage C. Yeah, still bugged out. For some reason it won't let me rename these things. I think it's because the OK is where the squad button is, and when I try to press it, it presses the squad button behind instead, which is a little bit annoying, it has to be said. Oh well, I know which ones are which, as long as I keep them in a certain order. So let's put the new salvagers, the different versions on the bottom, and then when it comes to miners, let's make sure that the Xanian only have Xanian, and then the Trinium only have Trinium, just to make sure I know where everything is. Okay, all of these new salvagers go to the bottom. Let's see, one more of the Xanian. Wait, is that Scrapper or Miner? That is a laser fighter, that's one which is going away. Okay, that's all fine. Put the miners where they should be. You can go there then. Okay, so we now have some more salvagers and we have some more miners, and wow, we are getting a lot of fighters. So I won't use that trick again, as it is just a little bit too unintentional. That shouldn't be how it works. It's very obvious that's not the correct way of doing things, so let's go out into space, let's help out these guys fighting over here, and then let's scrap them using our new, very large amount of scrappers. And then we can also test out the mining drones fighters. That's today's episode. We're testing out fighters to see if they're good in certain situations. All I know, though, is the actual combat fighters are just not good enough. They just aren't. So the one problem with our weapons at the moment is we are incredibly short range. I think our max range is like 4. Yep, seems like it. But look at that damage, though. Even a heavily shielded opponent like that was taking a load of damage. Just ignore the poor piloting, which caused us to kind of go past the target. I don't have enough thrusters at the moment for our new immense weight. I love the consistent damage. It's so much more fun than burst damage, in my honest opinion. Unless you go all-out burst damage, of course. I'm sure that's pretty darn fun as well. Down you go. Next target is there. I could have just pressed R, but I completely forgot in the heat of battle. Ooh, yellow, hello. Could you please just die? You stupid stick thing. Now, excuse me, I want that loot. What'd you get me? You got me? I just purchased one of those. Seriously, now you give me one? Actually, I didn't even use that, did I? Going to systems. Oh, this bug again. This is another one of those bugs which is happening at the moment. A lot of people say it's when you have hollow spaces inside of your craft, so I actually rebuilt this twice. That's why I don't have footage of it, because I was so annoyed with this happening so much. But it doesn't seem to be the case. I have no hollow spaces inside my ship at the moment. But this is happening, so it's either the small hollow gap at the front, or it's the hangars themselves. I have heard some people say it might be the hangars which cause this, so we just have to remember where everything is. Either way, arm turrets, let's put that there. There we go, so now we can have one additional weapon. So, which weapon are we going to choose? We don't have many at the moment, because I've sold a lot of stuff. We do have launchers, which I want to use in a swarm at some point, but not right now. Lightning turret doesn't increase in energy too much, it's Xanian, okay. We'll put that there. I like how this ship is shaping up as well. Soon we'll have a command bridge once we have some more resources, which will have the final weapon mounts, and then it could be a bit less crowded. But it still looks better than having them all on the front, and it means I can do this. I can fire left and right now, rather than just up and down, which is pretty darn nice. So you there, thing made of trinium, face the wrath of way too many salvagers. Okay, that is pretty cool. And yes, they do even pick up the items for you. Ooh, nice double laser. Okay, everything return, and then I'm going to go off and attack that enemy in a distance if it's not already dead. It might already be dead. What we really need to do is go to a salvage yard. This way we could get a load of items, and we could test out our drones. So, where is the closest salvage yard, at least in this area, which is still at the higher quality of items? I believe there was one over here, but I can't remember for the life of me where. Which one of you happens to have a salvage yard, if any? Maybe I'm wrong. Perhaps I'm wrong, honestly. It's been a while since I've seen one, especially down here with the higher quality stuff. Well, we do have a little warning there. I'm assuming that was a pirate at some point who contacted me pretending to be a merchant, like pretty much all of them. Okay, I have found a salvage yard. It's a little bit far away over here, and it has no connection points. That's why I wasn't looking for it. So in a couple of warps we will be in range. But until then, let's use our new mining drones, our new mining fighters, to destroy this Xanian asteroid. Now, the asteroids do improve in health as they level up, which is a little bit annoying, but even so, they should get the job done fairly quickly, and as they do that, I can always kill anything attacking this zone, which is good because all these lovely miners are now stuck to this asteroid, so they are pretty darn safe. Yeah, that's fairly quick. Still need more, though. Still need more fighters. Definitely need a buff. In my opinion, the fighters are a really cool element of the game, but they need to be buffed desperately. The Zotan had just warped in as soon as I'd finished that asteroid, which is perfect timing, and here we go, absolutely obliterating the first one. Now, thanks to how our camera angle is, even if I fire directly forwards, all of the weapons on top can still fire. So taking a bit of physical damage there, ramming into the corpse, but even so. Let's see if we can obliterate this fellow as well. Is that firing at them or me? I can't. Okay, it's definitely firing at me. A few bits of friendly fire then apparently from the Zotan group. Down goes the second, giving us a lot of greens and whites. Not really what we're after, but even so, we can use them at a research station later. And apparently that enemy was made out of Xanian, so we can easily salvage that using our salvage drones as soon as we're done with the fight. There have actually been some really scary Zotan ships recently, with up to strength 4,000 in terms of their firepower. Ooh, hello. Legendary, what do you give me? Why are they never good legendary items? They're always legendaries I can't even use. Where's the enemy? Okay, there it is. Behold the power of pressing R when you actually remember to do that. All the lightning, all the Tesla, all the time. Okay, there's at least one enemy left over there. Let's do a flip, because flips just kind of look awesome when that happens, especially on such large ships. So, you are Zotan, okay. So there's 2 Zotans left. Let's just slide past this guy doing that. No, there's 3 ships left, okay. And down goes the first, moving on to the second. And then destroying the third. What I really need to do is to remember that we can just move the turrets rather than ourselves, and that is a lot faster than us trying to turn around. And most of the guns can fire broadside. Okay, so which one of you then is made out of the stuff we want? Your trinium, which we do still need. Trinium is a very good resource. I believe it's the lightest material in the game, so I do need to use that more. But where is the one made out of Xanian? Is it you up there? You look orange enough to be Xanian. So, okay, you are Xanian and you are Trinium. So, Xanian ship, prepare to face the wrath of our salvaging team. Which I know doesn't sound as scary as it should do, but even so. Salvaging lasers. Getting quite a bit of Xanian from that, actually. That's very, very helpful to us. Just got a new item, which was a white quality gun. As soon as that's done, we can just move over to that one and continue from there. Excellent, okay, everyone, move over to there. I do need hotkeys for these, but they just don't exist yet in the game. Again, I do think there needs to be a mod, so it's a lot easier to use these mods to use these fighters. I mean, it's kind of pretty, but they're all focusing on something they can't really hit. But it's very pretty, and that's the important thing there. Guys, please leave the pretty thing alone, go to the next piece of salvage. They are getting through this about as fast as my salvaging lasers would have done, so maybe I'm underestimating them, maybe I'm not. Either way, we are getting more Xanian, which means soon we can build our command bridge on the top. And after this, we'll jump on over to the Scrapyard, which will take 2 more jumps. I guess I may as well allow the miners out while I'm doing this as well. Ooh, I need more fighters. Well, I haven't had that message in a long time. Okay, perfectly fine by me. Maybe this is the way to get the most out of them. Have the mining fighters doing something, have salvaging fighters doing something else, or maybe split the salvaging fighters. Because their big issue is when it breaks apart, they can sometimes forget what they're doing because the part they were aiming at specifically gets destroyed. Having them on different pieces of wreckage may help to solve that issue. So you go over there, then the bottom one and this one go over there. I'm learning. Also getting loads of trinium from that asteroid. Here we are at the Scrapyard, just going to grab myself some new pilots, and we are off. I have just purchased 30 minutes in the Scrapyard, so let's see just how much we can get. Now, sadly, it does seem like some aliens are on their way, so it is going to be a bit tough, but even so, we can just carry on. Hello there, trinium and iron, that's completely reasonable. Send one squad against you. You over there, are you the same? Now, these aren't actually the best to scrap, because these have really, really high HP. But even so, going to do it anyway. You go for that one, and then finally, you go for that one. Maybe that's the best way to do it. Have them split up so it's more efficient, me having to choose their targets less often. And whilst they're doing that, I'm going to go around and destroy things myself to get some loot. Let's see, if we zoom out and go to tactical mode, let's see, where are my little babies? Okay, there's some over there next to that one doing their job. Yes, they are. Then where are the rest? Oh no, group of alien ships, really? Okay, we've got to deal with that straight away, because they are going to go after anything which is shooting, which does include all of my little babies. And this is actually one of the strong points of the drones. Whilst they're there happily devouring everything, we can go ahead and defend them and defend this sector. And they should be relatively safe. They are fairly far away. Do any of you not have shields? No, all of you seem to have shields. Okay, I was hoping to go past and go straight for a weaker one, but it seems like I'm just going to go after any which I can find. Also, whoa, missiles incoming. That is really loud on my end. Seems like these scrappers here really love their missiles. Oh, that was smart. That was smart. Let's get straight in the way of them. That's fine. Well, a lot of new modules for me, which I can go ahead and grab. I desperately need some more thrusters. Trying to control this thing is actually somewhat difficult. I say whilst doing a backflip. On the upside, getting a lot of trinium at the moment, and even more credits from our little miners. Hopefully they're also grabbing some things. Okay, that's good to know. Once the drones are finished, they will actually come back to you rather than just floating around the target they went for last. So let's find something a bit better this time. Ooh, you're just made out of pure trinium. The problem is, I don't know which group is which right now. Actually, yeah, that is a problem. There's no... Oh, yes, there is. As I highlight them, so the one around us is Salvage Group B. So, Salvage Group B, go for this one now. Okay. This is getting better. A lot easier to use. About 5 minutes later, and yet again we are under attack, but on the upside, I did manage to get all the way to 60,000 trinium, which means I was able to add a load more thrusters to the front and the sides, so now we are a little bit easier to control. And of course, it's time to kill some pirates. Behold the power of top-mounted weaponry. And goodbye. So it turns out that this particular scrapyard isn't really the best. Almost every ship here is one of the cargo haulers, which has an immense amount of health because of the inner workings, the inner core, in addition to not really being made out of many modules, so I'm not really getting much, at least in terms of rarity. I am getting a fair bit of resource, but that's about it. And which group has just returned to me? Group B? Yep, Group B is back with me again, so let's go and find you something interesting to destroy. How about this thing over here? It looks small and easy to destroy, but it also looks like solid trinium. Is it? Yo, wow, yes it is, 404,000 in fact. Yep, Group B, go do your thing. Whoa, we just got a titanium item from the trinium scrap, and it is indeed exceptional quality, with a fair bit of damage. It also does bonus damage to shield, and can go through shields. I may actually use that. I'm not a huge fan of the chain guns, they tend not to have the best stats in the world. But this one just seems really powerful. So, let's remove something weak. What's the weakest weapon we currently have? Okay, the weapon we replaced was an auto-targeting Tesla turret with really, really low damage. Sadly, the independent targeting mode does reduce the damage drastically of the weapon, even when you are manually firing. The low damage is just built into the stat line, and boy was it low damage. So, let's do a bit of manual labor. Well, it made it vanish for a second, which was interesting. Let's see if we get anything interesting from this. I've also put all of my salvages on the trinium item behind us, and already we're back to 30,000. Trinium being the lightest material, we really do want a lot of it, so that we can use it for pretty much everything. Especially the hull. Oh no, don't stop flipping around! That makes this so much more annoying to do. Stop being so flipping annoying. Okay, that vanished. Ooh, look at that. It looks like a little satellite by itself. Okay, not much more there. How are those guys doing? About halfway done. That's not too bad for about 2 minutes. We still need more scrappers. 50,000 trinium gone down the drain, and we now have loads more thrusters hidden away in pretty much every little crevice of the ship, so hopefully from now on it should be far, far easier to control. So let's see how good it actually is, and let's find our next bit of scrap. At a decent speed, letting go, and... oh yeah, that is so much better. We can now stop at full speed in about 3 kilometers, maybe edging to 4 depending. That is so much better than it was. It's still not great, but beforehand, if we were at full speed, it took about 7 kilometers to finally come to a stop, which was absolutely awful for any fine controls. And actually, it seems to be a lot better as well, reversing and just ultimately doing smaller little precision things as well. So very happy with that. Now, where are my drones? I just sent for them. There they are. Hello, my little nomadic drones. Go on, scrap that as well. Then we're very, very close to being done today. As I go and blow up something else. I have got quite a few modules since being here. I mean, look, I'm almost full now in my inventory, so that's pretty darn good. Although I don't think your inventory actually gets full. I just mean this line and that line's almost finished. thrusters made that so much easier. And I have no idea how much of that I actually just kept in the video. Probably the entire fight. I wasn't going to originally, but I probably did. That's a pretty nice chain gun again, so yay for that. How much trinium? Wow, I've got over 25,000 trinium waiting for me. That took almost no time at all. Really picking the better salvaging ships is a lot better than just choosing everything nearby. Where are they? There they are, and another huge chunk of trinium just broke off and went straight into our inventory. Fantastic. In 2 minutes' time, our current license will run out and we will have to leave or, of course, renew it. And overall, I am not too impressed with our yield. Normally, you get a lot more in half an hour. You can get some seriously rare stuff. In fact, now getting 2 rare items out of nowhere just to prove me wrong. One of them being a really nice laser. But even with that, we didn't really get all that much. We did get over 150,000 trinium total, which is pretty good for half an hour, though not really fantastic. And we got a few items here and there which were worth something. I think the main problem is this scrapyard doesn't really have battle cruisers or destroyers or anything really which is easy to destroy, which is also packed with a lot of modules. It had a lot of stations, and it had a lot of carriers and what they called cargo haulers and stuff like that, which normally are heavy in resource but also heavy in health and not really very module laden. I also do think that just destroying the things is definitely better than salvaging right now, unless you have way more salvaging lasers or drones than I currently have. Another shield module, not too bad. Almost running out of time here, so let's see if we can destroy at least one more other ship, or at least part of it. Let's go for this one. This one's a lot weaker. Just obliterate that from existence. 10 seconds. Okay, we need to stop pulling our guys back. Come on, stop. We're done. And with that, I am actually going to call the episode. I do apologise if this episode was a little bit dry, but I just wanted to test out a few things and upgrade some of the basics of our ship. In the next episode, we're going to be getting more trinium and xanium, although I'll be trying to get that off camera, and then we'll be upgrading our ship to showcase its final form a lot more than we already have. I am happy with the ship. I'm just not overly impressed with fighters yet, and sadly this ship has had a lot of money spent in it so it can carry these little things. I just think they need to be buffed, and their AI needs to be improved, and their UI really needs to be improved. Trying to control these things is a bit too micromanage heavy. There should be options to allow them to do certain tasks by themselves, and right now that isn't really the case. Either way though, if you have enjoyed the video, then of course likes, favourites, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly shows that Avorion is a series you would like to see continued in the future. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.